Here again. The Ethiopia Empire is beating drums of war to invade Eritrea and/or annex the port of Assab from Eritrea. Ethiopia claims to have historical, legal, natural, and demographic, population size rights to have its own sea outlet. It is all a fallacy and an intellectual dishonesty by some Ethiopian elites. It could be tantamount to inciting an eternal conflict with the Eritrean people. It only makes worse to the already hostile region. This should not be allowed, and war should be avoided at all costs. During his visit to Addis, French President Emmanuel Macron said, supports Ethiopia's quest for access to the sea through discussion and respecting international laws and neighboring countries. Hopefully, his visit has loosened the tension. We Eritreans and Ethiopians need to start a frank conversation. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, being responsible for orchestrating the Tigray War and committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide in Tigray, and still conducting parallel wars in the two largest states in the country, the Oromia and Amhara states, there are all indications that he has laid plans to invade and annex Eritrea by force. Would that make any economic benefit to Ethiopia? It is unrealistic and ill-advised. But he may not care either as long as the pretext of the nation is at war prolonged his stay in power. It would have been easier for PM Abiy to depose the Eritrean dictator Isaias Afewerki. Yes, they were allies in crime, but he could be seen as the lesser evil and would garner the support of many Eritreans and the international community. Rather, he seemed to have chosen an opportunistic approach that the Eritrean people are now at their weakest position to resist an invasion. This is an old trick, already tried and failed by his predecessors, the imperial dictatorship and communist regimes of King Tefri Mekonnen Haile Selassie and Colonel Mengistu Haile Mariam, respectfully. The mismanagement and mishandling of Eritrean issues has put the Empire of Ethiopia in a vicious circle, karmic doom. The role of Eritrea in deposing those regimes should also be underestimated. Successive Ethiopian regimes have made several serious mistakes and national treasons that caused the 150-plus years of crisis. First, the king of Shua, Sahle Mariam Menelik II, sold part of the present-day Eritrea to the Italians at the Treaty of Wuchale, May 2, 1889, in exchange for a sum of money and the 30,000 muskets and 28 cannons. It was within 2 months after the martyrdom of Emperor Yohannes IV, on March 10, 1889. What a shame! In only 53 days. It is to be remembered how many battles Emperor Yohannes had to protect the territories from Italian, Egyptian, and Sudanese invaders until his sacrifices. Assab was already sold in 1869 to the missionary Giuseppe Sapato for 6,000 Maria Theresa currency by the local sultans, which was later acquired by the Italian government in 1982. No Ethiopian ruler objected to the transactions for the selling Assab, Akil Guzay, Hamason, and Bogos. No wonder that Eritreans were never fond of or even despised the Emir Menelik. At those times, it was not uncommon to buy and sell territories. Alaska was bought from Russia in 1867 for $6 million. California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada, etc. were bought from Mexico for $15 million in the mid-19th century. In that case, one can argue if Eritrea was under an Italian colony or if it was considered as its territory or as one of its provinces. Yes, there was racial discrimination, but many Italians considered Eritrea as part of their country. We don't think that Ethiopian elites miss the fact that sold territories are not refundable, returnable, or exchangeable. Thus denying historical facts and fabricating narrations would not help in bringing lasting peace and peaceful coexistence. That is why we say we need frank conversation with Ethiopian elites and get a good closure of the matter. What led to the War of Adwa in 1896? The Damust vs. May disparity in the Wuchale Treaty. The cause of the Adwa War was the controversy over Article 17 of the Wuchale Treaty. The Italian version stated that Italy to handle all the foreign relations of Ethiopia, but the Amharic version stated that Ethiopia may use Italy in its diplomacy. In essence, the Italian version said Ethiopia must do diplomacy through Italy, while the Amharic version said Ethiopia may use Italian resources if it chooses in conducting its diplomacy. Abiy was not happy about it and denounced the treaty in 1893, and as a consequence, the War of Adwa resulted in February 1896. After Italy lost the war, it recognized the independence of Ethiopia south of the Mareb River by the Treaty of Addis Ababa on October 23, 1896. And other treaties followed to specify the borders between Ethiopia and the Italian territories of that time Eritrea. To continue Part 3, the United State of Ethiopia and Eritrean Federation.